baby on set. What do you think about most now?
About what?
What do you think about most? What's on your mind?
I mean, it's hard not to worry, right? All of the bad things that could happen to her. And I'm very spoiled that she's at this age. Like, I don't take for granted that she's at this age where I can protect her. I can keep her close from the world. But in not so long, like, she's going to be out there in the world and I can't protect her anymore. But, like, to be a fully fledged, realized person, you need to experience things. And I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I'm just like, I think about who she's going to be. It's like such a mystery. Like, and some of it's genetic and some of it is just, whatever happens. Ain't that right?
Has it changed your relationship with your parents at all?
Oh my God, totally. Like, I feel like when I was younger, I was always closer with my dad. But I'm like, Mom, how'd you do it? It's so much. And she was a traditional, like, stay-at-home mom. She quit her job when she got pregnant with my older sister. And he was also, my dad was living across the country. So they had to make the decision, like, we doing this? Like, are you coming across the country? Or so they were out there, didn't know anybody, doing it all by themselves. And yeah, it's made me a lot closer. It's made me appreciate them.
Yeah.
Because how could it not? It's like...
Did you ever butt heads with your mom? Like most teenage
Of course.
girls?
I hate you, Mom. But that's just inevitable. It's just because, they're trying to help you and you don't realize. And you just don't want to be controlled.
Yeah.
And they're just so I understand now because I'm like, they're just anxious and want to protect you.
Mm-hmm. So when did you like reconnect with your mom?
Oh, it was never bad. It was just more, it was like maybe in middle school and like a distance, like, but my family, I'm very lucky. I come from a very close and good family. But it's, oh, you hungry. But it's a lot of pressure to live up to that.
Mm-hmm. What would you say to any of the young women out there that feel apprehensive with having a child?
I mean, I'm not the one to convince anybody. If you don't want to do it, it's not for you. But nothing like has changed me more as a person. And like, you're cracked open and a little universe falls out. Like, it's pretty crazy. Like, just the miracle of life that you get to witness when they're born is insane. And beyond that, it just taught me so much more empathy. Like, I considered myself an empathetic person, but just, I look at another person, I'm like, you're somebody's baby. I'm like, oh.
That was one of the things that changed me, too. Like, dang.
Yeah, everyone is somebody's
kid. And then you look at all the, the sad things going on when you look at homeless people and drug addicts. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
What happened to you? You were this once, right?
Yeah, it's so sad. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even think about it.
Yeah, we don't have to go. That's a dark road. But like, I did think about that a lot.
That's why I had to get offline because I was just seeing all the coverage from Gaza and all the like dead little Palestinian children, and I just had to unplug because it was too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think another like beautiful aspect of it is like I can walk around and like when I'm carrying her around town because I have to walk the dog or whatever, she always brings a smile to people's face. Doesn't matter who they are. And it's like this like unifying thing. Like, oh, we're all part of the human race. Like someone looks at her and they're like, oh, you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. It still happens. With my little 3-year-old, we just walk in somewhere and
people like to make kids happy.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. I like to call it the golden years. I feel like we're in it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm towards the end of it and you're just starting.
It's so much fun.
But the golden years of not feeling all the negative emotions that we end up feeling, like shame, embarrassment. I mean, she's still walking around, running around the house, naked and just being herself and having so much confidence. And,
right.
that's the part of human life. You you get crushed a little bit when you go through hard things.
Right.
And
also
you start
there's
to get self-confident, self-conscious, and especially with girls, that's...
You have to fit into society.
Yeah.
And I mean, the social media stuff, are you worried about that? Like...
It's my number one thing.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm so anxious about that too.
Yeah.
I think like everybody laughs at me when I say this, but not till she's 16. Like,
right.
I'm drawing a hard line. She could maybe do like an Apple Watch for calling and stuff, and I'll get like a plan on it, but no social media, no.
I used to have that opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to somebody that has a middle schooler right now.
Oh God.
And you can keep that opinion forever if you really like to, but
I'm already turning red because I just know. I know how like I can only imagine by then how much worse it's going to be without this now.
I think you can have the ideas of when you want to introduce your kid to like a phone and social media, but you also have to have those conversations with the kid, and it really depends on the individual.
Right.
If you can talk to your kid in a way that they really understand the damage and harm that will happen when you start to look at your phone and compare yourself to everyone all the time and everything that comes with social media.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I don't think social media until high school, I would say.
Yeah.
But, only time will tell. I'm just trying to enjoy these moments.
I guess I had it in middle school, if I can think, like MySpace. I think I had MySpace in middle school.
Yeah, but that was different. You had to go on a computer.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Had to cancel
my family room, like crawl in there. But still, you're like, the comparison aspect was still there because you're like, if you're in someone's top 5 or not, or like,
True. I was more obsessed with the music.
Oh, totally.
You
Yeah.
had to pick your song.
Got shitty taste in music.
What's the hardest part about being a mom?
It's like 2 things. It's like having to do it all and wanting to do it all, but not being afraid of how other people will treat her. I think it's hard to give up that like control. For me, it's really hard to give up that control. I never felt like I was like a huge control freak, but I think I am now. I hate to admit it, but I don't think anyone could do it right. But they probably could, and I could probably use the help,
So it sounds like mama bear instinct.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Like protect at all costs.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Don't hurt my baby. I will.
Don't get near my baby.
Yeah. Don't get near my baby. Okay.
I think like my brain is so broken. Like I go through scenarios of like what could happen and like what would make me kill someone, and the bar is pretty low, for what someone would have to do to her.
Well, I've already made her cry today, so please don't hurt me.
You looked at her the wrong way.
I did.
What else is the hardest part? I mean, it's all so hard, but so good at the same time.
I mean, what are your favorite parts?
Oh my gosh, the way she looks at me. When she wants me, it's like, when she giggles. Even before that, it's like, I can't even describe it. It's how much she brings to the world and how much it reminds me that we all start from this. Like, we just got her baptized the other day. I'm going on a tangent, but I think the baptism thing is a little funny because the idea of like this little creature having original sin is funny to me. I'm like, I don't know about that. How could she? But
yeah, because everything she does is amazing, right?
Yeah, it's so cool, and she's so fascinated with everything. I mean,
it's the greatest show on earth, right?
Yeah,
that's what I call it. That's why I think about this stuff too, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it also changes how you see, like you said, how you see everything, really, because you'll see parents and kids interact, and that parent has been watching that kid since day one.
Yeah,
and they are their biggest fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I like to think of it. Is like everything she does. If it's a dance recital, by the way, amazing. So much fun, so much emotion. I was like,
before
I was like standing up cheering her name. I was like, this isn't me. That's not me. Like, what's happening to me? But it was great. And then to see everyone else and hear everyone else cheer for their kid, it's just like this cool.
That's so beautiful.
It's this cool thing. You're like, oh, we all care so much about our kids.
Yeah,
that's great.
As they should. I mean, nothing breaks my heart more when you see the opposite, because that also exists. Like, nothing makes me angrier, I would say now, is like seeing a kid with their needs not being met. And like, I would never say something to someone when I see it in person, but it's hard not to.
Yeah. Right. Because that's all you want as a kid, is to connect with your parents. And then at a certain time you disconnect, and that's
like my only philosophy as a parent. It's like, it's all about connection. You can't go wrong. Like, they're inherently good. And if you connect with them when they're upset about something, you can work through it. Like if they're having a tantrum, or, that hasn't happened to me yet, obviously. But if she's like crying and I can't figure out why, I just need to connect with her, and then she's okay, or she just needs a cuddle or something,
Mm-hmm.
It's simple, I think.
So you're worried about everything with her. I'm trying to be like, wait, yeah, everything.
Worried about everything, and also nothing. Like, I know she's going to be fine, but like, I don't know. Never been more anxious driving in the car, you know what I mean? It just changes everything. Every little thing I do. Never been more anxious walking up a flight of stairs, It's like, it takes one little slip. They're so fragile. So I can't even talk about it. It's so fucked up. I already don't remember what the first 2 months are fucked up, right? It's like you're in war, and I don't remember it either.
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks, I remember being so in love in the newborn phase, and she's like this little worm, needs to be taken care of. But it is odd that we're the only mammal that has a gestational period outside of the womb. She's not born standing like a giraffe, She can't run over and suck on my tits.
Yeah. So what happened? Did your water break and you go to the hospital, or did
my water broke? I had a doula, and I called my OB and my doula, and they were like, well, you can wait until your contractions are closer together. So it was 3 a.m. the night after Christmas. So I'd been doing a bunch of shit all day, and and then I ended up going to the hospital at noon the next day, because I had lost a lot of water. And they say, it's funny, they say that it doesn't always happen this way, but that they usually have to pop the sac and break your water for you at the hospital. So I was not expecting that. And they say that's why it was a little bit more painful, because she's not floating in water. She's just all the pressure is on my veg, And so we went to the hospital. It was actually pretty chill. Laboring was not that bad until 8 hours in, and then all hell broke loose. And it was overnight. It was just I was screaming for hours. I was in the shower somebody help me. And Ty was such a good sport, because my doula got sick, so he had to be my doula and luckily he had done the birthing classes with me, and so he's doing all the squeezing the hips and I don't know, the hammock carry and all this stuff, telling me to switch positions, telling me to get in the shower. It was really nice, but I had to break at one point, and I asked for the epidural, but I was already 7 centimeters or something, and you're not supposed to do it that late. But I needed it, and I think they could sense that, because they were like, this girl needs some mercy. The nurses were calling out, and I was like, oh God. But then immediately, epidural is miracle drug. It's amazing.
Were you trying to do it natural?
I was. I was pretty stubborn about it, clearly. And I wish I don't know, because in hindsight, I'm happy with how it went down, but it was really painful.
Yeah, and we did, she had an epidural as well.
She did, okay.
I don't think she ever,
because that was,
I think she waited until she was like, oh my God.
No, but mine, I couldn't talk. I was in so much pain, I couldn't And my contractions were like, they're supposed to be 5 minutes apart or something, and they were a minute apart.
So
I was no relief. Yeah. So I was just like, give me that Epidural. You know, I turn into a demon and I say, give it to me. Yeah, but I'm glad that it went down the way it did, because I think, you know, I don't know if she would have come out as quick, because then I pushed for like 15 minutes or something by the time I got the epidural, because it was like, it made my body relax. I think I was so tense from contracting and like not eating, being up for that long, because she was born on the 27th and I went into labor like the night of the 25th. So it's like, it needed to happen. Yeah.
Wow.
Glad it's over.
So what else has changed? Like,
Everything.
you just say everything, but what's everything?
So like, a couple of my friends have asked me this since having her, and it's like, it sounds like bad, but it's a positive thing. I mean, it's both things. You know, there's two sides to everything, but it's like, you are, I like to say, after I came home with her, it's like you're the same person with the same house, same friends, same car, same everything, but you're completely changed. So it's like navigating this whole new world that you live in, where, you know, you have all these things that are familiar, but you're different, so you exist with them differently. Like, all my friendships are different. None of my close friends. Like, I have a couple friends with kids, but like, I'm the first of like my close friends to have a kid, especially as a woman. Like, I have some guy friends with kids, but it's different. No offense. You know, because
Please.
Your body changes. I'm
Please.
like, I need someone to tell me the dirty details about like what happens, you know? I had to get stitched up after. It's like, oh, you know. And it also took me like 8 weeks, I think, to like heal.
Yeah.
But back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to wear a diaper and all that. Too,
Yeah.
right?
I was like, we're both in diaper. I used the diaper rash cream before she did.
These are things they don't tell you, but you're like, well, this is happening.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the moment, it doesn't really, I mean, it matters, but like, you're like, whatever. Because she's here. You're like, holy crap.
Totally,
she's here.
yeah.
Right.
And like, I still haven't got my period, which is another weird thing. I'm like,
oh.
Yeah, she's almost 8 months old, still haven't got my period back. I better not be my... No, there's no way. Don't look at me like that. You're like, we've had this conversation before.
The last time I saw you, you were like, I think I'm pregnant. I was like, what do you mean you think? You're like,
and you were like, go take a test.
I'm late. Super late.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got nothing for you there. I'm not a doctor. Yeah. I know that's...
No, it's normal when you're breastfeeding.
Yeah.
It like turns off the signals to like that part of your body.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like some women don't get it back till a year, or like, I don't know.
Yeah. So what are these conversations like with your good friends? I mean, I'm assuming they're supportive, but...
I mean, they're supportive, but there's like a distance. It's also like, you know, I had a friend while I was in college, I guess, who had a baby, and she just disappeared. And I didn't understand why before, and now I get it. It's like your world is so different. You can't, like, your values are different. Like, what you want to do is different. You know, I don't want to go, I don't know. It's just like, I could still connect with my friends about certain things, but I don't care about certain stuff the way I used to.
Absolutely.
So it changes those relationships when all someone cares about is like, I don't know, going out, or I don't know, The Bachelor or something. Not that that's something
right,
my
like a
friends care
TV
about.
show.
Yeah, it's like does that really matter?
Yeah. Going out. Well, I mean, what did you do before the baby was around? It was like a common thing. Besides work, right?
Yeah, I mean, I worked a lot. I was like a workaholic before. I feel like I was working too much. So I think that had affected my friendships already. But, you know, I would go out to shows or go to the bar, just go out to dinner with my friends a lot. Me and Ty used to go out like a couple times a week. And now we don't do that anymore. But, yeah.
For those who don't know, what do you do for work?
I'm a boom operator. No, I like to say that with my Maryland accent. I do sound.
I hold the microphone.
I hold the microphones.
How do you
Hold the
explain it
bulb
to
of
like
my
your
head.
friends or people?
I say I hold the microphone that is for the actors or for somebody, you know, actors or whatever. Like when I'm doing union stuff, it's actors, but if not, it's usually a politician or the head of a healthcare company. It's the
Somebody
usual.
important
Yes.
with a lot of power or
Yes.
money. It's typically how it works.
Yeah.
And that's where the conversation normally ends too. They're like,
Cool. All right. Cool. They'll be like, do you know anyone famous? I'll just be like, no. They don't want to know me.
I'm not into it all. Yeah, they don't know me. How has that been like?
The work thing is like, I would say like I used to get a lot of my self-worth from work and like how much I was working, how good I was at my job, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I like don't care even a little bit anymore.
Well, you probably care a little bit because
No, I do. Like I, you know, I'm friends with a lot of people in our industry, and like I miss those connections because I feel like that's how I scratched like my social itch was like on set. I would be like working for 10 to 12 hours a day with these people, and it's like going to summer camp, like, and I enjoyed it like it was summer camp, honestly, even though the hours were brutal sometimes. But you know, I didn't realize the toll that was taking on my other relationships in my life, like just pouring into all of that and how fun it was and how fun it is to be good at something. But it's nice to take a step back and to have some distance from it, because it is, at the end of the day, a job, and it's something that pays me so that I can live. And that's kind of how I see it now. Like, I still care. I still want to be good at it. But I'm not going to be upset if something happens, you know?
Right.
Or if I, like, mess something up, it's like, it's all right. You know, if I was off cue, you know.
Oh, no, I was off access.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Sounds a little bit different, but nobody's going to know except for me.
Except for me, another sound mixer. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
am I going to be as hard on myself as I was before? No.
How do you handle, so for those who don't know, you freelance?
Yes.
Right? So what does freelancing mean?
So freelancing means I'm like a independent contractor, pretty much. Like someone hires me based off of a recommendation, usually from someone else. And I could be working for the same person for 6 months, or I could be working for a different person every day of the week, is kind of how it usually goes. And that's how it's been lately, now having her. I just take a job, and usually once or twice a week, whereas before I was working like 5 or 6 days a week. So it's really nice to cool down on that.
Yeah. So how do you get the work then?
How?
Yeah.
Nice people be like, hey, Gabby's cool. She didn't fuck it up too bad the last time. No.
Yeah.
It's
all about staying connected to people, like you said, when you're on set.
Yeah, which is hard because I haven't been on set, so I feel like I've been hired less. But, you know, I'm at that point where I am okay with that. I just hope, like, you know, it's hard not to worry long term how that's going to affect my career. And, you know, I feel like I was kind of riding a wave that I just kind of fell off. I'm like walking on the beach now and just dipping my toes in, you know.
Well, I know, I mean, just being connected with basically the same people that you are.
Yeah.
Very similar circles of work. You can come back anytime you want. And you are back.
I know,
but it's still restricted.
It's different,
and
yeah.
like,
and I do feel
fine.
funny, like, people aren't going to call me, you know, because people usually hire the last person they worked with. That's how it works. And, like, if I keep saying no to stuff, the longer you do that, the more it goes away.
Yeah, absolutely. But I will say, like, that's what you need to do, and that's what's important to you. So,
yeah,
you know, I understand your concern is valid, but right now, I mean, this is
she's
it.
more important. It's like,
absolutely.
Am I gonna remember like some sit-down interview I did at wherever the hell, or am I gonna remember being there for her? You know, she's only like mine for like maybe 18 years, and then
you got 18 seasons of life.
Yeah.
Really.
And it goes by quickly.
I would say less than that. I would say maybe 11, 12, or 13.
Right. Once she gets her own social life, and
her peers are going to influence her more than you are, right? Of course, you still have I'm talking to you.
I say all this stuff about, humanity, everyone's so good, and then I'm like, ugh. Because kids can be so mean.
Especially girls. What's up with you bitches?
I know.
Jesus.
Well, I was always a nice kid.
Yeah.
I was such a, I don't know. I always wanted people to be included.
Do you read parent books? Or parent podcasts? Or?
I haven't really. It's just I don't want to be too weighed down by all the expectations. And I kind of have been doing things intuitively. And I feel like part of me, it sounds so corny, but I feel like I was made to be a mom. I've always been very maternal and nurturing, and I just kind of want to see what I do. Is that bad?
No,
just saying,
I think that's great. I'm glad I'm raising a kid now, even though there is so much information out there. Information overload, right? But I keep reminding myself, anytime I start to feel overwhelmed with, am I doing a good job, or what should I be doing here? It's then I know I'm at a point where I need to stop looking for advice.
Yeah.
And just take a little bit from here, take a little bit from here, and do what I think is best, right? There's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of talk about gentle parenting right now, which I think is good in some aspects.
I do think it's good. It's like a spicy word. When I hear it, I'm like...
Because I think people are getting it mixed up with, I think there's another word called
pushover.
Permissive parenting, where it's you're in charge, you're the leader. What you say goes. You can explain why. Some parents, you get tired and you say, because I said so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it, but for some people, maybe it is.
I would say for me, my parents would say that, and it was frustrating. Because I think if my parents said, you can't go jump off the top of the stairs because you might break your leg if you jump into this pile of pillows at the bottom instead, I would be like, instead of just saying because I said so.
Right.
Just teaching them to think like an adult is part of that, I don't know, process. And I don't think it's gentle parenting to be don't, just not saying no, just for the case of saying no. I feel like people do that sometimes just to flex their authority.
Right.
And if you explain yourself, then the kid could learn something.
Yeah.
Which is the whole point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Teach.
Well, it's also learning how to deal with your emotions, right? So you're going to get frustrated.
Me?
Yeah. Just this morning, she's crying.
I get frustrated
she's crying.
sometimes,
she's crying.
yeah.
And, at first, it's very hard to take care of a young little baby. But you already know there's a but. Yeah. But it's you can kind of, is she hungry?
Decent.
Is she?
I'm sorry.
She's been covering the whole time. So.
I know. Don't have to do a blur bar.
Yeah.
Not that I care.
Is she hungry? Is she tired? Is it her diaper? Mm-hmm. Did some weird sound guy make a face at her? So there's things that you can. It's a process of elimination, as they get older. All of a sudden, you're this is that's when it's starting to get more difficult, but it's also more. It's all great, right?
It's you want a banana, but they wanted to open the banana or stuff like that I've seen.
Yeah. I don't want to go to school. That was this morning. I don't want to go to school. I'm sorry you don't want to go to school. Oh, I know. I don't want to go to work either sometimes. Ugh. Sometimes you just don't. You got to do things you don't want to do. I'm sorry. We got to go.
So and you're running late.
You got 5 minutes to get dressed, okay?
It's so hard.
Crying hysterically. No. Come back in. You're not dressed. What's going on? We got to go. All right, I'm going to give you 1 more minute, and if you're not dressed, no dessert tonight.
But does she get happy? Is she happy when she's home from school that day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's fine. But it's more like trying to navigate, like that's the gentle parenting stuff. It's not like, because
it's not like
we all yell at our
we're
kids,
going right now.
Go, or like, let me spank you. To
Right.
It's like we don't do any of that. And I know some people do, and they believe in it.
I mean, my parents spanked me. I don't know if it was good for me or not, but it worked. They put the fear of God in me. I was like afraid of my parents. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Isn't that interesting though?
Yeah.
Like you're like, okay, well, I'm not totally messed up, am I?
I don't know. Am I?
You seem like you're
I'm okay.
super. You're like the happiest person on set every time. Every day.
I try to be. I make an effort to be.
How do you stay so happy?
I just don't take life that seriously.
It's that easy. Just don't take life seriously. Okay, noted. No. Got it.
Well, it's also like I feel very lucky that I'm always happy on set because like I got to do what I wanted. I went to film school and like work in my career. Like not like I don't know how to say this in like a way that doesn't like crap on other people's jobs, but like a lot of people go to school for what they want to do and they just like get a desk job that they hate. Like I'm so lucky that I don't have a 9-to-5. I couldn't function that way. I'm not that kind of person. So like if I wasn't doing this, I would be like an REI tour guide probably, and not make nearly as much and be able to like support a family. Yeah, I just feel lucky. I guess like gratitude is part of it too. Like just trying to be aware of like the things I do have. Like I'm not sick. She's not sick. I have a house. I have a dog. She's a bad girl, but she's my girl. I have a husband. He's a bad boy.
I was about to say, I'm waiting. It's like, come on. Give the man some credit. No, I'm just kidding. We're worthless. I get it. I get it. Okay.
No, I love him. I know. He's not worthless. He's grown a lot. I told him I was doing this, and he was like, I'm afraid of what you're going to say. I was like, you have nothing to worry about. I think he's doing exactly what every other guy does, his best.
His best.
That's all I can do.
That's all you can do, too, But he's happy about it, huh?
Oh, my God. He's obsessed. He was like when I got pregnant, I was unsure. I was like, are we doing this? Like, this is something I got to think about. Like, I went on that backpacking trip with Camila, who's been on this podcast. And I was like, I'm going to take these 3 weeks and think about it. And I had like an appointment with Planned Parenthood after, And then I just thought about it, and I thought about her, and I didn't know I actually thought she was going to be a boy. But only because people,
like a boy.
I know, but only because people kept telling me it's a boy. That's why I thought it was a boy. But I don't know. It's just like sometimes the universe brings you things, and who am I to say no? It was kind of that simple. Like the universe brought me Ty, and that was really crazy how we met. Like we met in Washington State, and like I came back. We were all goo goo gaga obsessed with each other there. But then when we got back, I drove him back from the airport. Or actually, my mom picked us up and drove us back because I lied to her and said his parents couldn't. And because I liked him so much and we didn't want to be apart. And we're driving him down the driveway. And Mom was like, you know where this is? This is the farm that your dad grew up on. And that's where his parents lived. So it's like really weird universe, like bringing us together kind of stuff. And I've always tried to listen to that, and not that I believe in fate or anything like that, but I think like some kind of connection in the universe will come to us if we're open to it.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd say yes to having a baby too.
So you mentioned she got baptized?
Mm-hmm. That was something he really wanted. He's like went to Catholic school growing up, not necessarily like I wouldn't necessarily say he believes in God in that way, but he is really into theology, and he is one of the few people I know that has read the Bible and like really takes those as like fables that are like lessons to teach you something. He doesn't think that they're like necessarily was a burning bush. You know what I mean? No, like I totally respect people believing anything in the world, but because the world is so mysterious. But you know, in our family, we just take those as like lessons that are to teach us something, and like it all comes back to like being a good person, right? Like the golden rule comes from the Bible. Like treat others how you want to be treated. Like that's all I want her to know, is to like be happy and be kind.
Right.
It's it. Like
that's it.
Did you guys baptize her?
No.
Okay.
We didn't.
No, like I
religious, but
I like was, to be frank, because I wasn't sure where you were with it. I didn't want to like kind of crap on it, but I was against it because I was like raised that way and I hated it. I hated going to church. I hated the hypocrisy that I saw there. How people would preach like love and all this stuff, and then have that exclusivity. Like, if you're not baptized, you go to hell. Like, excuse me? If there is a God and he's supposed to be this all-loving, all-forgiving thing, he's going to send someone to hell because they weren't baptized? Like, I don't know about that.
Right. Any last thoughts or message about being a mom? Like, what?
Do your best, girl. You can do no wrong. As long as you love your baby, you can't do wrong. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like people get too weighed down by like, you know, the different parenting styles and am I feeding them the right thing? Like, because I worry about that too. Like, I haven't really given her that many solids, and I don't know, as long as they're happy and you love them, it's okay. If they're not screaming at the top of their lungs, you're doing something right. You know? Isn't that right, monkey?
Well, I'll be excited to talk with you years down the road, because all these thoughts and opinions are constantly evolving and changing.
Oh, totally.
So,
and my thoughts on it changes a lot too. Like when it comes to parenting styles, I do feel like my biggest worry is that like if me and my partner don't match up on how we decide to parent, which is like a huge thing for me. It's like I just want to teach her basic things, to be kind, and to do that we have to put that out in the world, because you have to practice what you preach, because kids are like little sponges that they see what you do. She sees what I do now. I know it. It's like,
right. Well, I'll say one last thing, and that's to that point. You know, your husband might do things a different way because he's a different person.
I know.
And he's her father. So he's always going to have that relationship with her that's different from you, because you're different people. And so that's something that you will, of course, learn. But that's something that I preach to my wife sometimes, like, look, I know you're doing it this way.
And I need to, like, let him do it his own way, right? Because it's not going to work any other way. And he's, like, you know, he's really good at making her laugh and, like, coming and giving her hugs and kisses and reading her books. He got really into the, do you know what Caldecott medal is? He's like a serial hobbyist, so he like does deep dives on things. So they're like medals that were awarded to the best children's books every year since like 1940. And so he's been reading her all of them. And he'll like go once a week and check out like 30 books from the library, which is really nice. And yeah, he's great with her. I think it was hard at the beginning though, because it's just like she's a little worm, and I understand that it's hard for the father to be connected to her in the same way, because she doesn't have that connection with him. And that can't be helped.
Right.
Or I don't know. I'm so wishy-washy about everything, because they actually did have a really good connection, because when they were like stitching me up, he did tummy time with her when she first came out, which was really nice. Or like chest to chest, not tummy time, you know what I mean? Skin to skin. That's what it is. Which was really nice. And it was so funny, like those first 2 weeks, because I'm kind of like stubborn I'm one of all girls, so I never wanted to change my name. Really? But he was so good.
You said you're one of all girls. You mean
like
your siblings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, you know, none of us are going to carry on the Sturgeon name, basically. And I didn't want it to die out, so I was always kind of stubborn about that. But after those first couple weeks of him being so good, I was like, maybe I should change my last name. But I'm glad that I stuck to my guns.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Gabby.
Yeah, this was fun.
Been awesome. It's super good to catch up with you, honestly.
Yeah,
it's kind
seriously.
of a weird way to do it. But like,
yeah. And I could keep talking forever about this,
Yeah,
but my
of course.
mind is like so disorganized these days.
no, it's all right. I think, you know, thanks for sharing all your stories about, you know, what it's like to be a mom, a new mom.
Getting torn open.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Hey, that's real. That happened to you.
Yeah.
And it happens to many women out there. And I think that might be one of the many reasons why, you know, some women are hesitant. They're like,
oh my God, it does not matter. It like goes right back. I shouldn't say that because it doesn't for everybody, I guess. But like, there's exercises. It's a muscle, you know? And I like to think that pain is only in the present. So I'll probably do it again, you know? It's like, because pain only is in that moment. It like can't exist more than just that. So it's like it never happened.
Yeah. Short-term pain for long-term
a life. It's pretty
whatever.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
All right. Well, we'll have to do this again in like a year.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be fun.
See where you're at.
I'm going to let her touch it now.
Go ahead.
How does that sound?
Bye.
It's going in the mix, isn't it?
Bye, Rosalind.
Bye.
Bye. You want to say anything? Is she saying anything yet?
She babbles a little bit, but she's too sleepy right now.
We let her giggle.